Hello, today we're going to talk about importing physical and electronic material in one file in Alma. Uh, Now, previously, if you were importing new records, bib records, and inventory into Alma, and you had both physical items and electronic items coming in from a vendor, then you would have to import these in two different files, one for the physical and one for the electronic, and you'd have to create two different import profiles in Alma, one for physical, one for electronic. But now you can import them in one and the same file and create only one import profile. The only stipulation being that the input file will have to indicate for each record whether it's physical or electronic. Let's take a look at such an example input file. This is an example file with two records that I want to import into Alma. One record is physical, the other electronic. Let's go ahead and expand it. We're now looking at the physical title, called the life and times of a physical title. And you'll see that this record has a new field which I've added, the 555 field, subfield A, and this field has a value of P. That indicates that this is a physical title. And similarly, if we look at our electronic title, which I've just expanded here, we'll see the 555 field, subfield A, has the value E, uppercase E for electronic. So I have arbitrarily chosen to call this field 555 subfield A, but you can put this information in any other field, but it's just important to note that you have one well-defined field and subfield which indicates whether the record is electronic or physical. Now let's go into Alma and create an import profile for this input file I've just shown you. So Alma, under Acquisitions Configuration, I go into Configuration menu, Import Profiles, and here's the list of all the existing import profiles. Let's go ahead and add a new one. And I can choose which type of profile. We're importing records and inventory, so it's repository. If we were making an order, we could also select this, and then Alma will create, in addition to the new records and inventory, also purchase order lines. Okay, so now let's fill in the rest of the details for the import profile. I'm going to call this my mixed profile 101, and I'm going to fill in the details, but I'm not going to dilly-dally too much. I want to get to the interesting part where we define whether it's mixed or whether it's just only physical or electronic. So let's get to that area. Here we are on page 6 of Import Profile Details. Here we define whether electronic, physical, none, or mixed. In our case, it's mixed. Now here we have some new panels that opened and a couple of fields I need to fill in. So this resource type and subfield is the number of the field which I showed you in the input file, which indicates whether it's physical or electronic, P or E. In our case, we put this information in a field called 555 subfield A. And the mapping here is the same as previously in Alma, so I won't get too much into it. Here's where you fill in the mapping details for e-resources, and here for physical items. You could provide also some default values, for example, default provider name, and for the physical, a default library, main library, for example, and other mappings here, for example, which field contains the barcode field and subfield. But let's not get into that. Let's see if we can run our import job. So now I'm looking at the list, and we see that we have our new import profile, MyMix Profile 101. Let's run the import, and here I select the file, the input file, the one I showed you before, mixedorders.xml, add to add the file, and submit. Now the job has run, and we are going to wait for Alma to complete the process. Here we go, time ended, very quickly. And let's see the imported records. We see indeed we have two records, the physical title and the electronic title.